Joe Rogan challenges Khabib Nurmagomedov's undefeated record. Here's what Joe Rogan had to say on his podcast. I think that's the one guy that should have beat him. If you look at the record, Khabib's got an undefeated record, but there's an asterisk. The asterisk is Gleison Tibau. That was very fucking close fight. I thought Khabib lost, but it was early in Khabib's career, you know? It was before he won the title. Joe Rogan puts an asterisk on Khabib's 29-0 record. Oh my. Unbelievable. Why are we still talking about this, right? Not even relevant. Let's get into some important news, right? The fresh news. Ronda Rousey, rowdy Ronda Rousey, says, no, I'm not fighting at the UFC White House card. I have better things to do. My kids need pasta. That's Ronda Rousey. I don't know about Rousey, man. Is she even relevant anymore? She's not relevant either. Let's get into some relevant news. Ready? Jon Jones. In a recent interview, he said he's preparing for a 5-round UFC fight. He's training every day, and he's waiting for Dana White and the UFC to approve his next fight, to give an opponent. Jon Jones wants to fight June, UFC White House event. Dana White had an interview yesterday at the Canelo versus Crawford presser. And Dana White said, Jon Jones reached out to me. He apologized for the things the way Aspinall went. And he asked me if he could fight again. Dana White said, can't trust Jon Jones. He's not trustworthy. I need to put people on the UFC White House card that are going to show up, that are going to show out, that are going to perform, that are not going to be drama, that are not going to be problems. So Dana White absolutely refuses to honor Jon Jones's request. Do I agree with Dana White? No, I disagree. I think you need to put Jon Jones on that card. I think you need to put Conor McGregor on that card. I think you need to put Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway on that card. I think you bring back Francis Ngannou. I think you put everybody on that card possible. Dana White went on to say, there's very limited tickets for this UFC White House event. 5,000 or less. Only 5,000. Wow. Dana also says that the fighters are going to be walking out of the Oval Office and into the ring on the lawn. It's going to be an epic event. It's going to be June of next year. And it's going to be live and free on CBS TV. The UFC has a new Paramount deal. It starts in January. Big deal. $7 billion. Boxing promoter Eddie Hearn says he's going to challenge UFC CEO Dana White and Zuffa boxing CEO Dana White to see who the best boxing promoter in the world is. This should be fun. And Dana White says, bring it on, buddy. Bring it on. Former UFC middleweight champion and light heavyweight champion, Poatan Alex Pereira, says in hindsight, he might have made some mistakes last year. He says if he wins the title this year versus Nurmagomedov, he's not going to fight as much. He's not going to fight 3-4 times a year. He's going to slow it down. Alex Pereira said he's not going to be an active fighter if he wins the title. Ilia Topuria in the news. Ilia Topuria says he's not fighting Arman Tsarukyan. He's not fighting Justin Gaethje. He's not fighting Paddy Pimblett. And that's what Ilia Topuria had to say. He's not fighting nobody. He's not fighting this year. So what's going on here? If Ilia Topuria refuses to defend his title, take it away, strip him. Let him sit there. Don't let him do a Jon Jones. Don't let him do it. Ilia Topuria says he's not fighting nobody. Ilia Topuria also says if the country of Spain needs him to run for president, he'll do it. Ilia Topuria is doing everything Conor McGregor does. Topuria calls out Crawford. Topuria calls out Canelo. Topuria gets in the news every time there's a big event. He pops some news or training video. He follows what Conor McGregor did. He stays relevant. And good for him. Because Conor McGregor is retired. He's not coming back. Or is he? Do you think Conor McGregor will actually come back to the octagon? I don't know, man. I don't think so. I don't think so. Here's what we're going to do next, guys. We're going to talk about, ready? You ready? UFC Noche. And we're going to pick who's going to win. Let's do our UFC Noche picks. And then we'll do Canelo versus Crawford pick. You know who I'm going to pick for that one. Come on now. All right, let's run it. Let's run it. See what we got. Okay, we're going to start at the very first fight. Welterweight bout. Rodrigo Ceziando versus Daniil Donchenko. I'm going to go with Ukraine. Donchenko for the dub. Alice Pereira makes her UFC debut. She's fought in karate combat, kickboxing. That is Alex Pereira's sister. Alice Pereira versus Monsi Rendon. I'm going with Alice via KO head kick. Had to throw that in there. Flyweight belt. Alessandro Costa versus Alden Correa. I'm going with Brazil, Costa. Cedric Dumas returns after recent arrest. Oh my. Zachary Reese versus Cedric Dumas. I'm going with Zachary Reese, USA. Jesus Aguilar versus Luis Garuli. I'm going with the flyweight Garuli. Tatiana Suarez returns versus Amanda Lemos. I'm going to go with Suarez. Lightweight bout. Claudio Puelles versus Joachim Silva. I'm going with Silva in Brazil. Middleweight bout. Jose Daniel Medina versus Dusko Todorovic. I'm going with Serbia and Todorovic. Lightweight bout. Alexander the Great Hernandez versus Diego Ferreira. I'm going with Hernandez. He's going on a run, guys. Bantamweights. Santiago Luna versus Quang Le. I'm going with Vietnam, Quang Le. Kelvin Gastelum, looking chubby, versus Dustin Stoltzfus, looking fit. I'm going with Dustin. I mean, we can't not talk about that, right? Okay. He's looking pretty thick. Rob Font returns against David Martinez. Bantamweight, I'm going with Rob. Diego Lopez versus Gene Silva. This is the main event. Here we go. I got to go with my boy, Diego Lopez. Especially because he has a mustache. A new mustache. And then we got Canelo Crawford tomorrow night. I'm going to go with Canelo via stoppage, late round stoppage. And there's our picks. So for parlay, I'd go Canelo, Lopez, and I don't know, man. Maybe, you know what? I'm not doing a parlay. I'm just going to go with the top two picks. I'm going with Canelo, Lopez, and I missed this one, guys. Sorry. I missed this one. Rafa Garcia versus Jared Gordon. Missed that one. I'd go with Jared Gordon. Add Jared Gordon to your parlay. And then you got Canelo, Gordon, and Lopez. And that's it for our news. All right? We don't come on here a lot, but when we come on here, we try to give you the best news we can. I'm Chris, MMA Uncensored, MMA Pack, Combat Sports News. Have a great day, fight fans. It's Friday. Have a good time. Enjoy yourself. Do something fun this weekend.